Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good night, everybody. Now I will present my work to you about adolescents' problems in Indonesia. Before that, I will introduce myself. My name is Aidil and my student ID 202000310200041. And now I study in Universitas of Muhammadiyah Jakarta. So I will tell you about adolescents problem in Indonesia. Before that, are you know what that is teenagers? A teenager is someone aged 10 to 24 years and not married. Adolescents must be educated and well guarded because adolescents are the next generation of a nation. Adolescents will have a major influence on the future of the nation. Therefore, teenagers really need to be kept away from the problems that often happen to them. The problem of adolescence is a matter of great concern because adolescents will become the nation's successor who will continue the stewardship of this nation. Who will see if not an Indonesian teenagers? It is impossible for teenagers from another countries to take care of our own country. Do you want to be an office boy and outsider employee? Of course not. Therefore, let's avoid things that can damage ourselves. The problems adolescents in Indonesia including first is free sex, the second of drugs, and the third girl. Immediately, we will discuss these problems one by one. The first is free sex. Are you know what that is free sex? Free sex is the habit of having sex freely done by those who oppose or feel reluctant about themselves bound in a holy marriage. Free sex is an act that is disgraceful and even prohibited by religion. Free sex is very much done by teenagers, and some is done by someone who is no longer a teenager. Sex is not just sexual interaction, but touching the body. The opposite type is sexuality. As example, in the Quran, Allah Ta'ala says, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, وَلَا تَقْرَبُوا الزِّنَا إِنَّهُ كَانَ فَاحِشَةً وَسَاءَ سَبِيلًا, meaning, and do not approach adultery. Actually, adultery is a heinous act and a bad way. Surah Al-Isra, chapter 32. If you do this free sex, there's the impact will you get. The first, that is herpes simplex. Herpes simplex is caused by the herpes simplex virus, which attack the skin, mucosa, and nerves of humans. The second is hepatitis B. Hepatitis B is characterized by symptoms such as fatigue, nausea, vomiting, stomach pain, fever, and diarrhea. And the third, gonorrhea or festering urine. That is occurs because of infection from the bacteria Neisseria gonorrhoeae and then HIV or AIDS. HIV/AIDS occurs due to infection with the human immunodeficiency virus or HIV, which damage the immune system. Other than having sex also has an impact on human physiological condition which include first there are concerns about pregnancy and virosexual disease. So depression, he or she can depression, then affect character development. The next pregnancy occurs at a young age, and the last is drop out from school. The next is drug. Are you know what that is drug? Drugs are substances that are dangerous that affect a person's physiological or psychological condition, be it a person's thoughts, behavior, or feelings, where the side effect of using this drug is addiction or cause dependence on the substance or substance. Drug is an abbreviation of narcotics, alcohol, psychotropic, and addictive substance. First is narcotic. What that is narcotic? Narcotics are substances or drug derived from plants or nuts from plants, both synthesis and semi-synthesis, which can cause a decrease and change in consciousness, reduce or eliminate pain, and can lead to dependence. Narcotic consists of three groups, namely the first group is that are only used for scientific purposes and are not used for therapy and have a very high potential for dependence. For example, cocaine, marijuana, and heroin. The second group, narcotics that are used as drugs, used as therapy, or for the purpose of developing science and have a very high potential for dependence. For example, morphine and pethidine. The third group, that are used as drugs and their use is widely used for therapy and is used for the development of science and has the potential for male dependence. For example, the next is psychotropic. Psychotropic are substances or drugs, either natural or synthetic non-narcotic, which have psychotropic active properties through selective influence on the central nervous system, which cause change in behavior and typical change in mental activity, and is divided into several groups. Namely, first is psychotropic substances that are used for the development of science and are not used for therapy and have a strong dependency syndrome. The second group are used for treatment and can be used as therapy and for the purpose of development science and have a strong dependency syndrome. Example, amphetamine. The third group that are used as medicine and are widely used as therapy and for the purpose of developing science and have moderate dependency syndrome, for example, phenobarbital. The last that are used as treatment and are widely used for therapy and are used for scientific development and have male dependency syndrome, for example, diazepam and nitrazepam. So the next that is addictive substance. Addictive substances are substances or substances that have psychoactive effects outside narcotics and psychotropic substances, including alcoholic drinks, contain ethanol, ethyl alcohol, which functions to suppress the central nervous system and when used simultaneously with psychotropic substance and narcotics, it will strengthen the influence in the body. There are three types of alcoholic drinks, namely Group A ethanol content 1 until 5%. Group The second group ethanol contains 5 until 20%. The third group ethanol content 20 until 40%. The next that inhalation. Inhalation is inhaled gas and polite solvent in the form of organic compounds found in various household items, offices, and so on. And then tobacco. Tobacco is an addictive substance that contains nicotine and is widely used in society. So there is a pack of drug. Based on the effect on the behavior arising from the use of drugs, it can be divided into several groups, namely the first depressants group donor. Donor is a type of drug that reduces the body's functional activity so that it makes the user calm and makes sleep and even becomes unconscious. Example, opioids, that is morphine, heroin, and codeine. So there is sedatives, that is tranquilizers, and then hypnotic or sleeping pills, and tranquilizers or anti-anxiety. The next that there is cholinergic stimulant upper. Upper is a drug class that stimulates bodily functions and increases work desire. In this group makes user active, refreshed, and energized. Example, amphetamine, or that sabu, ecstasy, and cocaine. Next, there is hallucinogens, are drugs that make user hallucinate, which can change feelings and thoughts so that feelings can be disturbed. Example, cannabis or marijuana. The impact of drugs. If you do this drug, that is the impact will you get. The first impact is diet. You do these drugs or eat these drugs can make me you diet, make me you dead because your body can broke. Second is crazy. Your thinking your thinking can be broke because you consume this drug. And the next can make you lazy. That is the taper from the donor. You will enjoy nothing for anywhere, not think whatever. Just the people once enjoy calm and another. The next is early marriage. Early marriage, according to the BKKBN, is a marriage that takes place at the age below the reproductive age, which is less than 20 years for women and less than 25 years for men. Impacts of early marriage we can see from mental health. Triggers can occur in domestic violence because the thoughts are still emotionally dark. Can see from physical health. If the pregnancy occurs at a young age, it usually results in the following impact. That is slow birth weight babies. The mother dies during childbirth, and then high blood pressure. So maybe that's all from me. But there is I want to say to you all, from the three problems above, we can compare it with the state of adolescence in our country today. It is very concerning. Therefore, let our friends change so that later we will not regret in the end. There is a saying, the fate of a country depends on its young generation. Come on friends, we are excited to learn so that later we can advance this country. Because the hope of the state is that we are the next generation. Country, the next generation, country leader. Do you want to be led by foreigners in your own country? Of course not. Therefore, we must wear graduation clothes before wedding clothes. Maybe that's all from me. Thanks for your time and thanks for in your nice attention. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.